how we are. Okay, we ready? Once upon a time, Emperor Hung Boom had a beautiful daughter, Princess Mi Noon. Give her a round of applause. Her beauty was so renowned that many suitors from foreign lands came to ask the emperor for her hand in marriage. The emperor did not believe that any one of them was good enough for his beautiful daughter. One by one, he sent them all away. He wanted Minu to marry someone really distinguished and powerful. He consulted with his wife and hit upon the idea of sending out a proclamation far and wide to the effect that he was seeking a suitable party for his daughter. Princes came from far and wide, but none was considered to be a good match for the king's beautiful daughter. Finally, one day, there came at the same time two very handsome young noblemen asking for the princess's hand. One of them was Sung-Thin, the mountain spirit, and the other one was Tui-Thin, the water spirit. Both of them were equally handsome, distinguished, and powerful. Sung-Thin bowed his head and respectfully said to the emperor, "My name is Sung-Thin. My kingdom includes all mountains. I reign over all creatures living on the mountains. I own all the riches of the mountains, including all the beautiful trees, plants, flowers. I can summon lions and birds. I can make the mountain grow high to the sky. I want to marry the princess and promise to bring her happiness and eternal life." Tui-Thin stepped forward, bowed his head and said, "My name is Tui-Thin. I am the spirit of the waters. I reign over all creatures living in the water. I own all corals, pearls, and treasures under the sea. I can raise the level of the sea as high as the mountaintop. I can make it rain, and make it rain, and make it rain, and gather storms. If the princess marries me, she will become the queen of the sea. The most wonderful undersea world and the most magnificent undersea palace will be hers." The emperor listened attentively to the suitors. He was reluctant in his choice because both suitors arrived at the same time and were equally handsome and powerful. Finally, he came up with a way to make his selection. He said to the suitors, "Tomorrow, whoever brings the wedding gifts first will have the hand of the princess." The suitors left the court and hurried back to their kingdom in hopes of getting married to the princess. Tui-Thin, the water spirit, had all his men collect the best pearls and jewelry and the most exquisite seafood and delicious seaweed. Sung-Thin, the mountain spirit, rushed back to the mountain. He ordered his men to collect the best diamonds and the most precious stones they could find. He also selected the most delicious fruit and most fragrant flowers on earth for the emperor and the empress. The next morning, Sung-Thin, the mountain spirit, and 100 attendants were the first to come to the court. He brought trays full of jewels and baskets full of mango, grapes, strawberries, roses, orchids, and all the riches he had. The emperor was delighted with all the gifts. He agreed to let Sung-Thin marry his daughter. Mi Noon bid farewell to the emperor and the empress, then followed Sung-Thin to his kingdom atop the mountains. Barely after the proceedings had completed, Tui-Thin, the water spirit, turned up. Tui-Thin came with his men, carrying trays full of jewels, pearls, and baskets full of seafood, only to find out he was too late. Tui-Thin, who had a bit of a hot temper, was furious. After hearing that Mi Noon had gone with Sung-Thin to his kingdom in the mountains just minutes before, Tui-Thin immediately ordered his men to pursue Sung-Thin and to take Mi Noon away. Tui-Thin called upon the waters of the rivers and brooks to overflow their banks and flood the land. In no time, the whole land became a storm and raging sea that rose day by day, hour by hour, ruining all the crops and ravaging the land. Despite Tui-Thin's rising waters, Sung-Thin was untouchable in his palace in the mountains. All Sung-Thin needed to do was raise his mountain higher and higher when the waters threatened to flood them. The two spirits continued to raise the waters and mountains, but no one ever seemed to win the war. After several days and weeks of trying to overcome his rival by raising the waters, Tweet then seized and withdrew to the sea. However, Tweet then could not give up the idea of taking the princess back for himself. So every year, Tweet then raises the waters and gathers storms up to the mountains where Sugden and Minu live. And subsequently, the people and land of Vietnam experience the raging storms and floods of his wrath. And that is the story of how monsoons came to Vietnam.